Welcome to Instant Traffic Hacks, Double Your Traffic. My name is Brent Coe-Peters, and today I'm going to share with you some information regarding solo email advertising, how to navigate the endless world of paid email advertising. Okay, so you obviously joined Instant Traffic Hacks. You want to go, learn some ways to be able to generate traffic to your sites. Now, the purpose of these hacks essentially is to kind of condense a lot of the training into a smaller version that's applicable to you and your business right now. There are some great courses out there that teach email advertising. If you have time and the ability to be able to invest in that, great. I would recommend it. Do a lot of research. However, this information I'm going to share with you today is very condensed, and I'm just telling you what we're doing in terms of email advertising. Okay, so I want to get into this here. So in this training, we're going to show you how to find lists to advertise. We're going to talk about the cost to advertise. That's definitely an important part. Email copy and links, what that looks like, and how to set up an easy system for tracking. That's important. And then also I'm going to just go over some resources. So not a lot, but we'll break this down into talk about that. Okay. So first of all, find lists to advertise. Now it's important to recognize and understand and identify who is your target market. Okay, who is your target audience? Now I don't know what product or service you're providing in what space. I can tell you, for example, we have an herbal supplement that we sell, and it is primarily gauged towards people who are 40, 45 plus. All right, so that's the demographic. Our customers are about split on male and female, so that's not going to influence the advertising that I'm going to focus on. But that's my target audience, and I know who that is. Some people create as you're going through this exercise of identifying who are your customers. Some people will actually make caricatures, and they'll go and they'll find a picture of somebody who fits that demographic. So they'll find some lady who's 55 plus, and they'll print a picture of her and put her on the wall, and maybe they'll name her Debbie, and they'll do the same thing with the gentleman. They'll have a man who fits their demographic. They'll put him on the wall and name him Joe. And so every time they do something, when they're creating a product, they're looking at advertising options, they look at that picture and they say, okay, who is Joe? What activities is Joe involved in? Is he into hunting? Is he into fishing? Is he into sports? Is he into golf specifically? Debbie, is she into cooking? Is she into sports? Is she into fishing and hunting? Maybe. But where are these individuals congregating online? Russell talks a lot about focusing on marketing where people congregate. Okay, what are they buying? What are these customers buying? What news sites are they looking at? This is very important. What news sites are they looking at? Individuals spend a lot of time on news sites. There's a lot of different stories they can look at. And we have found some of our most effective advertising is on news sites. Now, some of these aren't your typical ABCs, NBC, Fox, those kind of things. Some of these they're targeted to a more specific audience. So we've had a lot of success with conservative news sites. All right, don't tell me why. I haven't quite figured it out. But people who are very right wing, at least for our supplement offer, I think they don't want necessarily the government telling them what they can and can't do. And so if they want to take a supplement for their body, for their own health, they're going to do it. These people are buyers. They're willing to. Typically have money. At least in this market we have. And again, I'm speaking just from personal experience. They have money. They're willing to spend the money. Okay, so finding lists to advertise. So let's just break this up and let's go look. I can show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so I had a couple things pulled up here. So one is, WorldNet Daily, for example, is one that we use. Okay, America's Independent News Network. So this is, when you go to the site, you start seeing ads, right? These are all advertisements on the site. Big advertisements. So they are definitely looking to monetize this website, which is good for you as an advertiser. This is great. So usually I'll scroll down, I'll look at some of these things, I'll look at these pictures and the headlines. When you're in advertising, you're looking at all of this, right? This is all giving me ideas for copy. Eat this, never diet again. hey, that might be something to look at in terms of testing that for a future banner that we're going to do or an ad we're going to do. Is Obama a psychopath? Click here to vote. All right. So these are all things that you can go to and you can look at. And again, I go to the site and then I'll look at, okay, I'll go and I'll, typically what you're going to find when you drag down is a link like this, saying advertising. Click on that link and usually get some information here, and it's connecting there. But it'll typically direct you to an email address or somewhere where you can focus on advertising. Okay. So yeah, here's information here of who you can advertise with, and right here, advertising WorldNet Daily. It's where you can call this number and get in touch with somebody. All right. So that's an example of one. Another news site that we're testing our offer on is theblaze.com. Another, again, very conservative, but you go to the Blaze and you see ads, and that's a good sign. So when you're looking at sites to advertise on, are they allowing banner ads on their site? Are they collecting an email subscriber list? I know these guys do. When you come to the site, they'll usually have pop-ups asking you to join their newsletter. Okay, subscribe. Those are all keywords that you want to look for, and so that's something that we look for as well. So there's some examples of some news sites, conservative news sites that work. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to kind of show you or give you some information how you can, some references and resources that I use to get in touch with some of these people. Okay. So I want to come back here. Let's play this back here. Okay. So again, conservative news sites, it works for us. But again, think about it. Who's your target market? What are they buying? What news sites are they looking at? Those are all important features. Okay. Now, what's important when you find a winner, meaning when you find a list that you've tested and you work on, and it works, keep going. Don't stop with it. A good way to measure it is once you've mailed once, depending on the size of the mailing, if it's positive, meaning you've made some money, then you want to do 2 times that amount the next time. You don't want to jump to 4 or 5 times or 10 times the list size. You want to scale it smaller and just kind of go bigger and bigger and bigger. Typically, those lists you can if there's a big list, you can ask if you do half the list or even a quarter of the list, or you can, for example, at WorldNet Daily, we've got to deal with them where I think it's over 8 emails or mailings hits the whole list 100%. So they suppress part of it. So what happens is that we mail to just like I said, 1/8 of the list the first time, and then the next week we do another 1/8, and we do another 1/8, and we do another 1/8, and then every time when they keep track of who saw the first email, and they make sure that the next people don't see the same email. So you're hitting the whole list that way. All right. And when you find lists that work well, news sites that work well, or other websites that work well, book future mailings. If it's positive for you, you don't want to have something working really well and all of a sudden it be sold out. A friend of mine I was talking to, he's a list broker, and he said some of these lists work really well. And other people see the same thing, they get good results, and so they buy it up for the whole year. And so there's no inventory available with that list. So again, if you find something that works, if it works once, it's going to probably work again. But again, scale it smart. Don't just blow it up. But and list brokers and people like that, and it's their expertise. They'll help you with that. Okay. So next point: how much does it cost? Now, most lists charge using a CPM model. Now, CPM stands for cost per thousand. All right. So what happens? These lists, they have these lists and these companies. They know how many subscribers they have, right? That's part of their business. They know that. Typically, a couple times a year, or at least for sure by usually the end of the year, they purge and kind of go through and delete email addresses that are not active and that things aren't happening with. So they really want to try to get an accurate number. But let's just say, for example, if I contacted WorldNet Daily, for example, and they said, okay, the list size is 100,000, and the price is going to be $10 CPM. How I can figure out what it's going to cost me is I take 100, so 100,000. Again, this is cost per 1,000, so 100 times $10 gives me the amount it's going to cost me. All right, that's an easy way. It's easy to calculate that, but that's how much it's going to cost me to mail to 100,000 subscribers. Now, with these kind of mailings, they don't guarantee clicks. Some solo email ad vendors and some people out there will say, "Hey, I'll get you X amount of clicks." Okay, that's not how this works. At least this model that I'm talking to you about, it doesn't work like that. But again, it just depends. Now, some lists Well, you'll find they'll charge a flat rate. So they may say, okay, it's $1,600 to mail to our list, or it's $5,500 to mail to our list. When you're starting out, again, it's new. You don't want to start out huge. You want to kind of scale it up when you have a new offer, or you want to see how it does. So, advertising the advertising, and there's definitely a risk involved, and I kind of want to just put that out there. Uh, Start small. You can go bigger as you have more experience. You do it more often, and as you scale that offer up, you can do that. But again, it's advertising, and there's always those risks. So keep that in mind. But start small and then go bigger. Okay, it's important to keep a method of tracking that. Now I'm going to show you. We've got an Excel list that we track with, and how we know our numbers. So let me pull that up here. Let me find that. Okay. So it's not there. Let's go. Okay, it's right here. Okay, so right here you'll see. So I've got this list. So we actually organize it by date of mailings, the offer. This is for our universal offer. The list name. Okay, so the list names that we have, the tracking links that I give to them, or that I put in that email copy. Here's the destination link. I've got it redirected. I'll talk about that in a second here. And I keep track of that usually by date. So January 27, 2014 is when this went out. Now this is what I want to show you here, is we've got it organized by clicks, sales, if there's pending sales coming, the cost, how much I actually am paying for that, and the profit. Okay, that's very important to keep. We want to make sure these are profitable campaigns. So we have got a software that keeps track of clicks. And I'll show you that in a moment, or I'll show you what we've used. Sales. So these are how many sales have come through as a result of that email. Okay, so for example, this first one, there's $2,600 came in sales. All right. The cost, it cost me $1,166 for that mailing. All right. So that gave me a profit of $1,462. So that's profit. Now again, that doesn't cover the cost of the offer, but that's exciting. You're positive here. Okay, you can see all those things in green are positive, the ones in red here were negative. And we did some different testing on these things, and different lists, of course. But knowing your numbers, tracking this stuff is very, very important. You need to know if what you're doing is winning or if you're losing. You need to know that. Okay? Okay, let's get back to this. Okay. Okay, so know if you're winning or losing is very, very important. Okay, email, copy, and links. Now, publishers, what happens when you contact a broker or contact a list owner, they're going to ask you for some things. Usually they want to look at the offer before they even say they'll accept it. So these publishers, they usually want copy that they can just copy and paste. They don't want to have to do a lot of work with that. So you can help them with it. So what we do, let me show you. For example, we just got a text file here, and this is our text file. And I've got some different versions of this, but I've gone ahead and just going, it's an HTML email copy. I've got our link here. So again, when they send out an HTML email, this shows up differently. Okay, it's colorful and it's nice and pretty. But what's important here is I've got my links in here. There's my link there. There's another link here. This is some extra additional tracking that we're using for a redirect software that we use. But that's the email copy that we use, and that's it. This is a short version we're testing. I've got my subject line here, weird nerve pain miracle, and that's that. Okay, so what happens, I save this, and again, it's a text file, so it doesn't mess up here, and we email it over to the list publisher, and they take that and then they run that. What happens is once I give that to them, they will go ahead and they'll send me a test email, which looks exactly what the subscribers are going to get. Now, what I do when I get that test email, I go and I click those links, and I make sure that those links are taking me to the correct page. I use what we call sub-ID tracking, meaning the link pushes through there, but also I have an additional tracking on there, so I can see which version of the email went out, or what date it went out, if I want to look to make sure that it's all correct, and how I set that up. All right, the finer you can know your numbers and know your results, the better. Especially when you're testing. There's a lot of publishers who will offer what we call A/B split testing. So when we first started this campaign, we started out with different subject headlines, subject lines, and so we had our same body copy and everything was the same, but just different headlines. We wanted to know which ones were getting clicks, which ones did people want to click on more, and so that was a good way to gauge it. And then once we found kind of a winner there, we went ahead and we tested different copy, and we tested, for example, longer copy versus shorter copy, and we found that some of the shorter copy, at least for this offer, it worked better than the longer copy. So we've been kind of going just with that shorter copy, and then we're going to be adding on a new test for that. So we'll take that control, that shorter copy, and we tried it with something different. And we had a different picture, for example, in that ad that went out. And we saw the new version with the new picture did better than the old one. So again, you want to keep improving. Testing allows you to improve on the campaign. Now we use a redirect. We use a tool, a WordPress tool. If you have a WordPress site, you can use. It's a Ninja tool that you can use. Let me see what it's called here. I'll get that for you. Okay, let's see. It's MaxBlog Ninja Affiliate is the Ninja Affiliate. This is the tool. If you have a WordPress blog, you can put this on your blog and use it. It's really easy. So for example, this is it in action here. You can click on new, for example, so if I was going to start a new campaign, I click here. I just name this like the Blaze, and then I'd go ahead and put the destination link, which is the link that I want the individual to go to. This is the Ninja link. This is like, for example, a redirect link that you'd use. So it's a shorter link, and then you go ahead and just do that. So it's really easy to use. Really, and again, it's the WordPress site. Another tool that we've used before is Click.org, and this is a paid software. But our friend Justin owns this site, and it's another redirect you can set up, and it'll keep track of your clicks and all that good stuff too, which is important. Again, it's knowing your numbers, knowing what you're dealing with there. Okay. So let's get back to our page here. Okay, there we are. Okay, so know your numbers, and track your clicks. Very important. And test. Can't say that enough. Test, test, test. And I know that through all the different trainings you're hearing, we're repeatedly telling you to test, because it's so important, so powerful. Okay. So, and I just showed you the system we use for tracking. That spreadsheet, track your media spend. It's important to know your numbers. Are you generating more money than you're spending? Very, very important. Okay, so the last part here is I want to talk about some different resources. Now, again, I've got some people that I've worked with in the past. These are brokers. Now, these brokers, this is what they do full time. They're in sales. They have publishers, meaning people who own different websites and websites that they own themselves. They want to sell advertising. That's how they're making the bulk of their money. They get people to the website. Now they want to sell advertising to others. So what's really cool is that they want you to be successful. It doesn't help them if you come buy an ad one time and you don't ever come back and purchase anything again. That doesn't help them. So they want you to come back. They want you to have success. Obviously, they want to make some money in the meantime, but they'll make more money over the long haul if you keep coming back and buying ads than a one-time shot that you don't do very well and then you give up and don't come back and buy more ads from them. So like I said, I have several different resources I can give you. If you want to email me, I'm happy to give those to you. Some of those individuals, they move on to different jobs, and so I didn't want to post the information on here in case it changes. I want to be able to have it updated and current. So the best way to do that is if you email me at Brent@successetcetera.com. So BRENT at SUCCESSETC.com. I can go ahead and give you some of these brokers that we're using. I can kind of even help direct you, depending on your offer, maybe to places that might help be better than others. But again, it's kind of just testing. It's trial and error and testing to see how that works out. But if you email me, I can help connect you with the individuals and help even hopefully maybe get you some preferred rates as well if you go through us. So again, my name is Brent Coe-Peters. So glad you were able to go through this training. Again, if you have additional questions, feel free to email me. We want to help you be successful and know that you'll be able to do that. So again, thank you so much. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.